Hi guys, I wanted to talk a little bit about observing and recording children's play. So next week you have an assignment due where you'll be put into small groups. You'll be asked to watch a video of children playing and I want you to mark observations. So I wanted to give you a little bit of information about observing and recording children's play. Oops. All right. So why do we even need to observe children? Observing children's play provides the educator with the ability to learn about the students in a way that can lead to actionable theories that can inform curriculum, know children's interests, and a better understanding of family interactions and relations. Basically, watching children play is how we learn about them. It's how we learn about what children are understanding, how they interact and navigate their world, how they mitigate their environment and the people within it, how they understand those people that are in it and their roles and who they are. It really is a window into how a child is thinking and feeling. So observation is the ability to deeply see. It is the ability to look at in a way that is really just observation, that is not interpretation yet. So the use of language should be used to describe but not infer bias. So last week, this is the photo from the I See and I Wonder. And the idea is to use descriptive language. So you're describing what you see, being very careful to use language that is not creating a bias. So an example would be about the woman in the back. The woman is distracted, not paying attention to the children, or the woman is looking at the phone. So the first one, the woman is distracted, not paying attention to the children, implies a bias. It implies what we already have decided, that in that statement, we've already decided that she's not doing what she's supposed to be doing. When in actuality, we have no idea who she is or what she's supposed to be doing. The woman is looking at her phone. This describes clearly what she's doing. She's just looking at her phone. Nothing more, nothing less. So who you are as an observer and who you are as an interpreter is an ongoing process. So it's really important that we're always thinking about ourselves in this process as well, that we think about what are the biases that we bring to this observation? What are the experiences of our own lives that we bring that create those biases or that help us mitigate them? And how we interpret that information can also play a big role in better understanding ourselves and the children that we're working with. So diminishing subjectivity is the fact that we all have biases. And we'll never lose all our subjectivity because the bottom line is we are human beings. So in writing your observation, we aim for as little subjectivity as possible. So what you're going for is analytic attention. This means that the observer is concentrating in a clear and focused way to the events unfolding around him or her. So you're just looking at what is happening. What do you see? You're not in a place of interpretation just yet, so therefore it keeps it in this very descriptive place of just what you see. This type of attention then allows the observer to take the information and examine it closely, and then make hypotheses, and then generate interpretations about it. It gives you the opportunity to decide, what are children really interested in? What is going on in this picture? What do I see? How can I overlay a specific lens to that? Am I looking at the child's development? Am I looking at their social skills? What am I observing this particular child for, or what is it that I want, or what information am I hoping to gain from this observation? So it's not until after you make the observation that you put in that you sort of look at and say, this is an example of symbolic play. This is an example of representational play. Oh, this might be, and I want to observe further this child's ability to negotiate or navigate friendships. He seems to be having trouble connecting with other kids in the class, but maybe it was just that one time. Maybe it wasn't. So let me observe further. So it might lead to further observations of something more specific, or it might also say, hey, these kids are really interested in boats. We saw them, we saw two boys in that picture are clearly making a boat and out of blocks. So maybe there's some interest in that we want to pursue or that we can use to generate some curriculum activities around. Examples also, some more examples of using more descriptive language or diminished subjectivity in a more analytical look at what we're doing is Marcus arrived today at 8:30 a.m. When he entered the room, he was obviously still tired and angry with his mom for bringing him to school. That paints a very different picture of that child. And we've already made a decision about how this child is feeling, what he is experiencing, and we've already made some determinations about this particular kid, as opposed to just stating exactly what you saw or what happened. Marcus arrived today at 8:30 a.m. When he entered the room, his eyes were halfway closed. He dragged his feet along the floor, and he didn't stifle the yawn just waiting to come out of his mouth. As his mom turned to leave, Marcus screamed at her and clung to her coat. This gives a very different perspective. It gives a very different description. I don't know if he's upset with her. I don't know if he's mad. I don't know if he's sad. I don't know what happened before he got here. So I don't want to make assumptions about it. The first one makes an assumption that he's angry with his mother for bringing him to school. I have no idea if that's what happened. I have no idea if that's where his need to cling to his mom is about. So that gives us a very different way to think about this kid and to figure out what he might need in that moment. So some other suggestions for observing and recording, especially the movement of children, which can be really hard to do. And when you guys are doing your observation this week, it's a video, so obviously these are not going to be things that you're going to be able to do. But if you have the opportunity over the course of the semester to either in your classroom or with your own children or at a playground, just sort of walk around and try and view movement from different angles and see if that changes the perspective of how you're seeing something. Get down and observe from the child's level of world experience. I will tell you, it is a very different experience when you are standing tall like an adult, or you're in a stroller and you're on an elevator, right? So there's a very different perspective of an elevator ride for two different people. Observe different children playing together, doing the same activities. How does one child interact and engage with the material versus how another child does? Do they do that the same? What things are the same and what things are different? What is different about these two particular children and how they engage with materials? Notice the efficiency or the non-efficiency of a child's movement. Is what they're doing being effective, or is it not effective in their goal of whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish? Observe children from different age groups doing the same activity, because that will also give you a different perspective on development. So if we allow them to, children will teach us all about themselves. And I love this picture also. But I totally believe that if we are willing to listen, if we are willing to take the time to really watch children, that they will tell us everything we need to know. And it really is up to us to be there waiting and watching and listening for what it is they want us to know about themselves.